Thank you for the opportunity to share new research-based insights with you about how transactional coaching enables continuous sales performance improvement. My name is Niru. I'm one of the co-founders of SalesStar. Just briefly about us. We are advocates of transactional sales coaching. Our journey started over 4 years ago when we all decided to make significant investments to figure out a powerful way to self-enable salespeople repeatedly beat their quota and every year enjoy a higher quality of life. Achieving 100% sales quota is the most important measure of sales effectiveness in any organization. But it continues to be the most difficult issue for very many sales leaders, and well over 60% of salespeople do not achieve quota, let alone achieving it every year. I promise you, the next 10 minutes will not be a waste of your time. Let's start with the top 3 toughest barriers getting in the way of repeatedly achieving quota and its relationship with transactional coaching. With core competencies, skills and knowledge are to do with what's being sold. Far bigger challenge is how to increase Tier 2 salespeople's experience and know-how. But how, short of them doing the work for many more years? Sales effectiveness needs successfully implemented systems like CRM, but it is substantially about having each salesperson achieve 100% of quota and to do it repeatedly. Tier 2 salespeople are the ones who are under 100% quota. Another huge barrier is the lack of timely actions by sales leaders to support their salespeople, meaning providing actionable advice which is oftentimes very time sensitive. But without vital sales information, it's very hard anticipating the future of each opportunity. One of the first questions that comes to your mind is, isn't that what I have CRM for? Should my CRM be helping me with our sales effectiveness? Well, CSO's 2015 published research has made the answer simple when you see its impact. CRM is a tool for knowing what to do, when to do it, and who around each specific opportunity. It helps to organize and plan and get more done. CSO research shows today's sales leaders have serious knowledge management gaps. The report shows that CRM is not dealing with the crucial how of the sale. How do I create a sense of urgency with the CFO? How do I differentiate myself in this particular opportunity? See, CRM was never designed for the how. Sales effectiveness is a side effect of CRM and not its primary objective. CRM was designed as a powerful database management and reporting system for getting things done. You know from your own experience that sales coaching does work, but it's not easy and it's not done every day. Also, it can be seen as too subjective and it's difficult to cut through over-optimism. There are times when your coaching has to enable you to talk about tough issues, but without hurting relationships. Right now, you're asking many well-crafted questions to try to understand what is actually going on with each opportunity. You then use them to make assessments for each opportunity. Only then are you able to anticipate its future. You hope that your salesperson has actually understood the actionable advice for the next customer meeting. But whether we like it or not, hope continues to play a persistent part in trying to increase sales effectiveness. And yet hope is not a strategy. Your customer's buy process is now far more complex and sophisticated. And now it's much harder to differentiate yourself. So, consultative coaching, also known as transformational coaching, is needed to bring about some behavioral improvements. But the reality is that you have to fully engage with each salesperson's top 5, 6 or 10 opportunities. You are trying to understand a revolving and complex sales situation because you need to anticipate each opportunity's future. And that's why you do transactional coaching. But transactional coaching needs a lot of time unique to each opportunity. In your mind, you're constantly trying to build a strong visual image of each opportunity you want to win or should qualify out. Many things can and will evolve and change over the entire sales process, typically taking months that it takes to win or lose. It's far better to lose often, but lose early and instead invest time in more winnable opportunities. So all the time, you're actually evaluating different dimensions for each opportunity. Because we all know that the devil is in the detail. Now, let's take a look at the details in transactional coaching. Most likely, the first and most complex dimension you're thinking about is to do with the people involved in the buy process. In this example, the decision maker. You're less interested about names, but you're very interested in the roles. You need to tease out vital information from each salesperson. Like what sort of power the role has in this buy process. These are the sort of things that is going on in your mind, but by no means does it end here. Next, you need to get a very good handle on the actual sales engagement, like how did the requirements actually come about? Or are we just being used in a beauty parade here? So within the people's dimension, you're trying to build a strong and detailed image of this dimension layer, like the decision makers. This type of review and assessment goes on over a period of very many weeks, and you're always trying to mitigate against risks of losing. Now, it doesn't just end with the decision maker's dimension layer, because the sale has to be made to a growing number of different roles. So obviously, there are many more layers to the people's dimension. Our studies have pinpointed the 5 main dimensions in transactional coaching. These are solutions dimension, which is qualifying the fit of what you're selling, financial dimension, the strategy for each opportunity, and the competition dimension. With the people's dimension, there are in fact many layers to it. For example, executives and influencers. Each dimension has its own unique collection of categories of details. For example, categories to do with experience, requirements, and power, which is clearly different for each dimension layer, and each needs a different approach. These devil in the details are the missing vital information. So the people's dimension has many layers to it, and each dimension layer has its own categories. And within each of these categories is where transactional coaching is actually taking place. For the solutions dimension, includes qualification, understanding expectations, and risks of losing. For financial dimension, obviously about the budget, and later on the approach in scope and pricing. Then is the sales strategy dimension for this particular opportunity. The cunning plan for winning is progress against the sales process and watching out for increasing sales support costs. Then the competition dimension. What do we know about them and how are they going to behave? Obviously, transactional coaching is not linear. Far from it. It's very fluid and very many things happen across all of these dimension layers and their own categories at the same time. You need to constantly build a stronger image in your mind about so many different dimension layers. And in the end, as we all know, it's all about the devil in the detail. When these details are not done or done poorly, it means that your salespeople will lose many opportunities and never achieve their target. SalesStar is your breakthrough for use by both salespeople and their sales leader. No one can create more time. It's what you do with the time that you have that defines the outcomes. So your breakthrough is not going to need you to make more time available. Instead, you can use the time you have today to take far more timely actions because you have far more vital sales information, and with it, increasing the likelihood of winning more. SalesStar is a new innovation which is available for use on all iPads, so now you'll be able to actually see each opportunity and make your own assessments and do it instantly. You'll get far more vital sales information about each opportunity. You'll see exactly the same details at the same time that your salesperson sees it on his iPad. And now you can take far more timely actions and win more. You'll instantly see much more than ever before about each and every high-value complex sales opportunity. Think about how much more vital sales information will help you to win and win more often. And because transactional coaching is not linear, SalesStar lets you know where you are within it and gives you key information about each opportunity. There are very many elements in SalesStar. Here is an example where a salesperson responds by touching one of the options which is always date stamped. Every now and then it may be useful to make a quick note, and because one size does not fit all, you can add your own coaching elements for a specific opportunity or to apply it to all opportunities. Test drive your competitive edge and substantially increase the likelihood of salesperson beating their sales targets. Test drive transactional sales coaching on the go today and see for yourself how you will win more opportunities through continuous sales performance improvement.